Hello everyone, can you hear me? Okay, great. Looks like we are now live. So if you guys are just tuning in, um, let me know if you are able to chat in the chat room. We definitely want to get as many people involved as possible. Okay, awesome. We got Dan Martinez in there. Good morning, Dan, or I should say good evening. It's 6 a.m. here in Hong Kong, so just getting up. Let me adjust this a little bit. Looks like there's a slight delay on my end. Okay. Now, what else I'd like to do is I would like to be able to get people to join via voice or video. Do you guys have an option on your end to do that? Okay. 5 p.m. in Miami. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's for sure. Okay. Let's see. It looks like we've got 8 people on board now. So I believe this is being recorded. So I am just going to go ahead and get started here and start talking about stuff. Hold on one second. Good morning, 24, or good evening, I should say. Thanks for stopping by. So once again, this will be recorded and people will be able to check this out later. So what we'd like to do is just keep it an open format. So if anybody has any questions throughout this, just go ahead and type it in the chat. And if we can figure out how other people can join in via audio or video, that would be awesome. We definitely want to get as many people involved as possible from all over the world. But let's say, just to get started here, first off, I would like to thank everyone for helping make DigiByte a 3-year-old blockchain. It's been a fantastic 3 years, and we're really excited about 2017 and everything that lays ahead of us. The industry is exploding. There are a lot of people that have been sitting, on the outside looking in, watching what's happening in the blockchain space that I believe in 2017 are absolutely ready to, get their hands dirty and jump into the blockchain sphere. Once again, thank you everybody for being here, and happy birthday to DigiByte. It's been an amazing 3 years, and we're looking forward to making it an exciting 3 more years. Pushing it into 2020. So to get started with, let's just kind of start summarizing the roadmap here. For those of you who are not or haven't seen it yet, you can actually take a look on the Telegram chat. We will be posting it to the DigiByte website later, and we will also be sharing it via social media. We'll have a longer version as well as a shorter graphical version. So that's where we are with that. So let's start off with the core areas of focus. As we move into 2017, almost on a daily basis, you are hearing about security breaches. You take a look at the U.S. elections and the issues there with supposed hacking of elections. Cybersecurity is becoming a huge issue. I just read an article on InfoWorld that was discussing there are over 1 million job openings across the planet for cybersecurity individuals now? Well, we believe that blockchain technology provides a very unique and suitable solution to a lot of issues that people are experiencing. So that is why, as far as a core area of focus and a pillar of DigiByte, we absolutely feel security is the number one thing. Because without security, we don't have the integrity of the network, and we don't have, we don't have the sustainability in the long term. And then right up there with security is obviously you, the community. Without you guys, DigiByte would be nothing. And there are a bunch of you that have been around since the beginning, those that have just discovered DigiByte, and those that have been around since, for a year or two. And once again, I would like to thank you guys for your support. And without you guys, DigiByte is nothing. So, yeah, good morning, or good evening, Woody. Thanks for being around. Thanks for that. Feel free, guys, at any time just to drop a question in the chat. I'm just going to start going through the roadmap here, and I think we'll keep this about, maybe 30 minutes. We'll just kind of play it by ear, see what everybody's thinking, what everybody's doing. So the other thing is let's make sure to get some tweets out there. So if you guys somebody can drop a link to the live stream here, that would be great. See if we can get as many people on board. Yeah, good evening, Kevin, Anonymous. Thanks for stopping by, guys. So then after security and community here, we have transparency, efficiency, and speed and scalability. And those are all attributes unique to a public decentralized blockchain like DigiByte. And as many of you know, by the way, I totally forgot to mention this, DigiByte, as far as we can tell, is now the longest blockchain in existence. The longest public blockchain in existence. This is huge. This is huge from the standpoint that we are pioneers and we are paving the way in uncharted territory here. So the advancements and the changes we made to DigiByte have been, have really, worked well for us here with our 15-second block time, 5 algo mining, as well as, DigiShield and MultiShield. Okay, a couple questions here. Woody asked, any more games? I would love to get Eve online. Woody, do you know if Eve has an open API? I don't remember looking that up directly, but one of the issues and the things we need with adding a new game to DigiByte Gaming is we do need an open API to be able to access, and we need a secure API. League of Legends, I think, is the best example of what a public game API can do. We've had issues with the CSGO one through Steam. There are some security vulnerabilities there. So we have had some issues. Now, as far as, yeah, feel free if you guys have some technical issues to bring that up. Yeah, thanks, Sharks. Yeah. So we have been working on some issues with the gaming wallet. Which cell phone wallet are you talking about, Kevin? Go ahead and post in the chat which one you are there. So we've done some things. We should get the issues with the gaming wallet sorted out here shortly. The issue's actually been kind of hard to reproduce, but we have seen a couple people that have turned the wallet over, and we've helped them fix it. So going back to a few more fun facts about DigiByte. So like I was saying, DigiByte is the longest blockchain in existence now. So it's a model and a reference for multiple people to look up to. For those of you who may not know, DigiByte has 5 independent mining algorithms, and this decentralization in the 5 algos helps us be more secure. We're much more resistant to a 51% mining attack than most of the other cryptocurrencies out there. Actually, pretty much all, because each algo, in order to 51% attack DigiByte, you'd have to take over 93% of one and the majority of the other ones. And each algo has a different set of hardware that is it's better suited for. DigiByte has 15-second blocks, and actually each algorithm has a separate weighting. And DigiByte can currently handle almost 300 transactions per second. By 2021, we'll be able to match Visa. And we've seen nodes in over 82 countries globally. So we've got thousands of nodes. So as far as the projects currently underway, I would like to point your attention to Digis for Commits. As part of our effort to really get people involved around DigiByte, because as I stated this before, without you, the community, DigiByte is nothing. And we definitely, I've taken a lot of feedback from you, the community, and I feel we definitely need to get more organized. And so part of that organization effort is through the Digis for Commits platform. And on that platform, you can actually set up a project that you would like to see on top of the DigiByte blockchain, whether you're a developer, a marketer, or just somebody with an ambitious, unique idea. You can set it up there, gauge the community's interest, and then you can actually use that as a crowdfunding for DigiBytes. So we feel that will help sustain some of the existing infrastructure development, as well as adding new stuff, as well as giving developers an environment to create new innovative projects on top of DigiByte, because we want to get as many people in the world utilizing the DigiByte blockchain for various purposes as possible. The next community project we have underway is obviously the roundtable. So this live broadcast, we felt that this would be a good way to directly engage with everybody, and anybody who would like to participate can obviously stop by, ask some questions here in the chat, so feel free to do that throughout this. And then also, we would eventually like to be, getting some more people here doing, joining in via video or joining in via audio. And we would like to do this at least once or at least, every 2 weeks. To keep everyone informed, keep everyone updated. I know some people in the past, we were doing the DigiReport videos. The people liked them, but the issue there was it would take almost a couple days just to get it edited and filmed, and that's 2 days of lost programming time. So I think this format will be much more engaging and informative with people. So that's what we're going to plan on doing. And then obviously here, everybody can join in. So, and that's the beauty of DigiByte. It's decentralized, it's open source, and it's worldwide. The digibyte.co website, we're going to be doing some more updates there. We migrated the site. We need to get some more educational content. We need to get some more blog posts. If anybody would like to participate in that, we're looking for people to help. If you're a gifted writer, I know I'm not a gifted writer. I'm definitely not the best writer. Definitely, English was not my strong suit in school. The next thing is the DigiByte Foundation. We feel for DigiByte to really stand on its own 2 legs and really take off, we think, and we've discussed with some members of the community, a DigiByte Foundation, I feel, is a great thing and a great priority for 2017. We've had some different ideas on where the best place to set that up is. Switzerland, the United States, different states, different islands and stuff. So if you have any experience with that, or if you would like to help contribute to that or be a part of that, please let us know. Please reach out. Let's see here. And once again, for those that are just joining in, first of all, happy birthday, DigiByte. And once again, thank you for being here and thank you for supporting DigiByte. And feel free to, drop any questions in the chat that you have. Let's see here. Question: do you think DigiByte will have a progress like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, etc.? Now, can you define exactly what you mean by progress there? I assume you're, maybe referencing market cap. One of the things to note about the DigiByte market cap currently, DigiByte, in my opinion, and from the evidence I've seen, is actually, if not, is definitely one of the most fairly distributed cryptocurrencies in existence. If you look at a cryptocurrency just by market cap, it's very misleading. There's several instances where coins were launched and either nobody knew about it, or it was, in my personal opinion, like I tried to mine Ethereum the first day, spent a couple hours, really couldn't get it working. It didn't really seem like there was a solid way to mine it for a few days. You had a lot of these coins, what they call a pre-mine, where the developer's sitting on a very large stash that artificially inflates the market cap. In the case of DigiByte, there was a 0.5%, but within the first 6 weeks, that was all gone. Half of it was given away to over 10,000 people. Those addresses are publicly posted. You can see them on the Bitcoin Talk. And then the rest was used to develop the original iOS wallet, the original Apple wallet, and then a few other things. So since then, DigiByte has been almost the pure definition of an open, free market. And we have a much more solid user base, in my opinion, than people, than a lot of the other coins that are higher us on the list. And we feel in time, that will change. And what I mean by that is if we provide real world utility and use cases and DigiByte solutions, that part will come eventually. But that's not our focus. Our focus is on providing, if we go right back up here to the top of the market cap, our vision leading through 2035 is to make DigiByte the fastest, most secure and scalable blockchain in the world well into the 2030s, driven by utility and real world use cases. So let's see. The next thing. Did DGB fix the flaws John Connor pointed out? Which things are you specifically referring to? Some of the things that he was talking about weren't actually really issues. Yeah, if you could be more specific there. Let's see. Okay, so a question on DigiByte Gaming. Everyone I tell somebody about that ask me, can I use DigiB on OpSkins? So currently, we do not have integration for OpSkins. I'm actually not exactly sure how that process works. That is something we've talked about, a marketplace. But that's a project that we would love somebody in the community as a developer to take on board. We want to get as many developers in the gaming community as possible utilizing DigiByte as a payment system. Okay. So the next question, how many people are working on DGB and is that your office? Yes, this is our office. Nobody's here at the moment. As you can see. Now we do share the office with our sister company Tofu Gear, which is doing some pioneer, really cutting edge retail stuff, which they've actually integrated DigiByte. You're going to hear more about that. They've got some fairly, big brands they're working with, and DigiByte is integrated into that. That's something we really haven't, marketed, and we should probably market a lot more. But yeah, so we have people working on that, and at various times, we've definitely shared resources there. So, okay, let's go back to here. Your people ask, what can we expect in 2017? Who are the new partners we have on board? Well, the first thing we have is as far as partners that's really been useful here, especially the last few months, is actually Microsoft. Last fall, we basically submitted the application to get DigiByte as a template on the Azure platform. And then since then, we've been working with Microsoft, especially specifically here in Hong Kong, and they actually partnered with us with not only their BizSpark program, but actually their BizSpark Plus program. So part of that is we actually got about 120,000 US dollars in hosting, and that's what all the existing infrastructure is being hosted on, as well as some of the platforms, even like the DigiBot for the Telegram chat is actually being hosted on there as well. And through that partnership, we've been collaborating with them, helping inform them, educate them, and we've basically been getting introductions now from them to other companies and some of the stuff we're working on. Now, as far as specific partnerships and details, let me get into that towards the end, because that has more to do with DigiSign, which is basically the tip of the spear and what we're leading off with right now. So, okay, question. Do you have devs that work for DigiByte alone, or is it shared with other companies? Yes, we have some developers here that are working specifically and only on DigiByte stuff. But some of the other developers have been shared and have worked with us on stuff as well. At any given time, I think we probably have 5 or 6 people here actually working on DigiByte related stuff, some of that business development, some of that marketing, but we also have people remotely working. We have Solder System. He's out of Australia. He's an awesome developer. One person in Canada, and then we've had various people contribute from all over the world. And we would like to grow that open source, DigiByte community. Good evening, everybody that just joined. Thanks for stopping by. Once again, we have an open format here, so feel free to drop some questions and ask. And without you, DigiByte wouldn't be here. So this is, once again, this is all about you guys. So thanks for being here. Let's see here. Okay, EVE Online API, pretty sure it's open. Okay, yeah, after this, I'll make a note and I'll check into that. Obviously, it takes some time to add that. Let's see, what do you think about the community projects like MineThatDigi? As far as MineThatDigi, I got to be honest, I've been a huge Minecraft fan for a very long time. When I get on an airplane, I have it on my phone, and that's actually kind of how I spend most of my time. It reminds me of Lego, so I thought it was a cool idea. We had looked into it before, but we realized we had to set up our own server, and there was a lot of detail. So it's great to see a community-driven project. We want to see more community-driven projects because that's really what is required to take DigiByte to the next level. So how does funding for the project work? So as many of you know, we had an initial private investor basically 2 years ago, $250,000. And that is what's driven us internally here in the office. Now, everything outside of that has basically been publicly contributed. So, open source stuff. Now, $250K doesn't go very far. I mean, in Silicon Valley, that's enough to hire 2 guys for a year. So what we're focusing on is basically generating some real world use cases. And that's our focus with DigiSign here, to actually get some clients on board to show how a public blockchain that's decentralized can be used, with private companies to help secure and validate their contracts, agreements, and trade. But let me get more into that here in a little bit. Is there anything you can tell us about who's the market maker in Pullnix? Someone in-house to DGB. To my knowledge, I have no idea who that is. I am not an active trader. It's been several months since I've traded. I know it's important. It does affect everything that's happening, but to be honest, I don't have time. And to my knowledge, it's nobody here. It's nobody we're affiliated with. No idea. Good morning, everybody. Sorry, it's 6 a.m. here. Good evening, everybody who's just joining in. Who came up with the name DigiByte? That was actually me. In the fall of 2013, I started working, I'd been looking at the Bitcoin code base since the fall of 2012, and I had an idea for some enhancements, and basically, I don't know, September 2013, I started working on stuff. I forked the code base and was messing around, and in November, I think it was around Thanksgiving, one day I just decided, well, DigiByte, that sounds like a cool name. If you send and store data in megabytes and gigabytes, why not send money and secure data? So yeah, that's where that came from. So let's go back to the roadmap here. Like I said, I'm gonna finish with DigiSign. For those that have just tuned in, we will be posting, if you haven't already seen it on Telegram, you haven't already seen it in other chats, we'll be posting it to the website with a more polished version, as well as some more graphics describing it. We're going to end with DigiSign because that's kind of what we're spearheading right now. But let's go into DigiID, Digi2FA, and then more how that relates to DigiByte Gaming and DigiSign. So with the way that a public blockchain works and the public and private key pairing, you have some pretty unique abilities and things you can do that you can't do with existing website technology. And one of those is simply identification, but more importantly, anonymous identification. So just as your DigiByte address you receive DigiBytes to is how you're identified on the network, you can also use that identification to log into a website or to secure a profile. For those of you that have used two-factor authentication, you can use the same thing to sign a message and verify it with your private keys in your wallet and use your wallet almost as a lock and key for smart devices, for websites, etc. And we've actually rolled out the first generation of that into the DigiByte gaming website with DigiID and the DigiByte 2-factor. We will be updating the gaming wallet with some more advanced features and easy to use ID piece. And then we'll also be later integrating that into DigiSign. And then we're going to open that up and give people a platform to integrate it into other websites and to help become the de facto standard from a security perspective. Because as many of you are aware, there are a lot of ongoing cyber attacks. Here recently, last fall, the DNS system on the East Coast of the United States was brought down. The existing architecture of the internet is flawed and has some severe disabilities that need to be corrected. One of the first concepts of using a blockchain as a replacement for the existing DNS system was Namecoin, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the very first altcoin. So the idea has been there from the beginning. So let's see here. Some other questions. What do I think about Bitcoin drop? May it go lower? It's one of those things. Bitcoin supposedly died how many times now? I don't really get into speculation. I don't know. Every time I've tried to play that game, I've been burned. So I kind of gave up on that a while ago. Let's see here. Do I mind checking Telegram? Yeah, I can check Telegram. But is Bitcoin dead? No, absolutely not. As far as I understand, this recent, it recently had more to do with China. Basically, in their marketing, I don't want to say ban. I don't really know exactly. Take a look at Telegram here, okay? Okay, so you can't join the video. Is that what you guys are talking about? Let me go to the live dashboard and see if I can allow. This is my first time live streaming, so it said Google Hangouts live broadcast. I'm not seeing an option. Not seeing an option here. Let's just keep going with what we're doing, and then at the end we can try playing around with it here a little bit more. Okay, let's see. I think it's best if devs don't worry about the price. Charlie Lee says the same thing. Yeah, Charlie Lee is a great guy. I had the chance to meet him at Scaling Bitcoin not too long ago. I definitely agree with that statement. If that's all we were worried about, I'd have a lot of gray hairs, and I probably would have had a heart attack by now. Okay, more exchanges. Yeah, we obviously want to get on more exchanges. We've been in contact with some of the Chinese exchanges. Still, we kind of feel that if we really focus on utility and bring solid products to the cryptocurrency ecosystem and, into blockchain technology, that'll all follow. So that's why we've been focusing on things. How's it living in Japan as an American developer? I'm actually in Hong Kong at the moment, so close to Japan, about a 6-hour flight. But yeah, Hong Kong is a really, really fascinating place. The people here, the local people, are amazing people. They're very hard workers. But the interesting and fascinating thing about Hong Kong is Hong Kong really is the hub of the center and the center of the world's economy right now. Pretty much all the manufacturing and trade that comes out of China comes here and then is basically routed to the rest of the world. So the cool part about what we're doing here in Hong Kong is we actually have access to tap into that global trade network. And that's really what we're focusing on with the DigiSign application. But let me get, like I said, let's get into that at the end, because that is definitely our spearhead of what we're doing right now. Do you expect China to play a big role down the road in terms of ownership and mining? Absolutely. As I've traveled into mainland China, it's absolutely, it'll put you in awe. It's very inspiring when you cross the border and you see the sheer magnitude of manufacturing capability and the industrial might and what China is growing into, and then you still realize that China has over 200 million people, almost the population of the United States, that's still living in poverty. So yeah, their economy has a long way to go. So yeah, absolutely, they'll play an important part in the future. But obviously, DigiByte is global, and we are not segmenting ourselves to any one market or any one area. DigiByte truly is worldwide. Okay, let's see here. Are you interested in Austrian economics? I've always been a fan of economics. Studied both sides, and especially being involved with blockchain and cryptocurrencies over the past, 4 or 5 years now. I think going on 5 since 2012. Yeah, absolutely. I've learned more about economics, monetary supply theory. Yeah, it's been a pretty exciting time. So that's something I like to study up on, especially history. One of the guys I like to follow that has a very unique perspective on ancient currencies is actually Martin Armstrong with Armstrong Economics. He has some very fascinating insights into how currencies moved and fluctuated 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Okay, so yeah, going back to the roadmap here, we just went over the 2FA DigiID. Basically, once again, we'll finish that in a little bit. One of the other things I would like to point out and shout out to is actually Alan is and Sodercism with Digistats. Digistats has been an awesome community-driven platform, as well as DigiByte on Telegram, which I think most people are familiar with. I'd like to thank them, and I would also like to kind of show that as an example of a community-driven project that really works. And getting as many projects like that on top of DigiByte is what we need to do to really grow and scale the community. So that is definitely a primary focus for 2017. So now let's go into some of the upcoming things. So the next version of DigiByte will be 4.1.3, which will incorporate and bring DigiByte up to speed with some of the latest improvements with the Bitcoin 0.13, such as the libsec validation for SHA-256, also headers first synchronization. As you know, since DigiByte is the longest blockchain, the longest public blockchain out there right now, we are going to be experiencing some issues that Bitcoin and other coins will not experience for years, as far as from the scalability. So a headers first synchronization, especially for like SPV wallets, the Android wallet, iOS wallet, these are things and improvements that needed. We have been working on that for some time now. We had originally tried and set the date for the birthday, but unfortunately we were not able to get it to a stable point just yet. So one thing we're not going to do is we're not going to release a unstable version of the protocol or the wallet. That's the worst thing we could ever do. So stay tuned for that. We do have limited resources here, so if you would like to help and contribute on that, there's a developer channel on Telegram now, which actually reminds me, we have over 500 people in the Telegram chat now. So if you would like to, get more involved, we've subdivided into the developer channel, a marketing channel, the official channel, and I believe somebody was going to create a trading discussion channel. So Telegram has really became the hub now, it seems, for the community. Much more, what Bitcoin talk used to be. So that's the next version. We would like to open up the discussion about a potential algorithm swap. We need to gather some more data. We need to see more specifics on each algorithm. But we would like to open it up to make sure that DigiByte mining stays. One of the areas, as we've talked to companies and corporations, everybody wants to set up their own private blockchain. There was a company that I went in to discuss with in the United States who basically asked, we want to put 1,000 financial institutions on one blockchain. And my question to them was, well, how do you secure it? And their answer was, well, we have a central node, a master node, that controls all the accounts. And I'm like, well, then why don't you just use a regular database that will be much more scalable and efficient? Um, and then they're like, well, that makes sense. So one of the things in the presentation that we've been making is, if you want your own private chain, why not anchor it into a public decentralized chain and leverage the security benefits? I went to a Credit Suisse event in China a couple months back. Some of you might know, and they released a report, and they're the first financial institution, to my knowledge, that basically acknowledged the fact that the most secure blockchain is a public decentralized blockchain. And without that public decentralization, you lose most of the benefits that a blockchain offers. So that's something to keep in mind. So one of the things we're looking at is the best way to attach side chains and sub chains to the DigiByte network. The other thing is SegWit. We're looking into SegWit. I'm still not completely convinced that that is the best long-term solution, because in my opinion, you lose some of the, I don't want to say archival, but the data integrity points for transactions. So, in some instances, I also like to think the idea of a future blockchain is being layered, with the more important transactions occurring with a higher level of security. And that's where this whole idea of subchains comes in. So, and then also, the big topic now is smart contracts. Everybody we meet with and we talk to, they're like, well, we want to do smart contracts. Most people really don't understand the term. In my opinion, smart contracts are possible on top of Bitcoin and DigiByte. And also, while we're on the subject, it's also important to note Microsoft is taking this distinction of defining the blockchain world in two ways. On one side, they're calling it UTXO-based blockchains, which is Litecoin, Bitcoin, DigiByte, Dogecoin. And then on the other side is the virtual machine Ethereum-based model, which is obviously, as most of you know, where the term smart contract originated from. However, even in some of the discussions I've had with some of the Ethereum developers, the term smart contract is misleading. And as you know, if you allow too much free reign in the code, you end up with security vulnerabilities. And that's some of the instances we've seen. So our approach, especially with UTXO, is to keep that contract foundation much more rigid and much more secure, because we feel that will allow some successful real-world use cases. Okay. So let me go back to some of the questions here. Do you think the Chinese will make more restrictions on the yuan and RMB? Moving into 2017, you have a change in the U.S. I think you very well could see some further devaluations. I've seen some of the reports I've seen on Bloomberg and other organizations. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're definitely trying to restrict capital outflow. Do I know where Paul Vern's hiding out? No, I have no idea. So what are the games you are looking at for DigiByte Gaming? And how does it fit into the projects down the road? Like I said, the biggest thing for adding new games to DigiByte Gaming is actually having a reliable, secure public API. And there's only a handful of games that actually have that. Some games have APIs, some of them are third parties, and there's a lot of security vulnerabilities. We've even had issues with the API from CSGO. By far, the best example of how to set up a good API is the Riot API with League of Legends. Now, how does DigiByte Gaming fit into the picture? Well, already through that platform, we've been able to bring in 40,000 new, millennial gamers that are effectively completely outside of the existing cryptocurrency and blockchain world. So their first experience with a digital currency and a wallet is DigiByte, and that's a powerful force. So through 2017, we would like to put on some more events and get more people, using it and excited about it. So it's definitely a part of the vision and the roadmap. How about sponsoring some events? We've actually talked about when DigiByte and DigiSign specifically here in Hong Kong is ready to go, sponsoring events specifically for trade. As I mentioned, the reason we are here in Hong Kong is because it is the gateway to the world's economy. And from here, trade flows out. Are you worried about other coins popping up or hard forking to do same thing or something similar to DGB, maybe something like LTC compared to BTC? Now, are you referring to that question to the actual like technology of the blockchain, or like our marketing and approach we're taking? To simply answer that, starting a blockchain, creating it is, in my opinion, 100 times harder to start a new cryptocurrency right now than it was in 2013 or the beginning of 2014. Everyone is obviously much more savvy, so even a great new technology or a great new coin that came out is probably going to be drowned out. In my opinion, there was about a 5 or 6 month window from the fall of 2013 to the spring of 2014 where pretty much all the market leaders that came out now emerged. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it, but at the same time, Andreas Antonopoulos, I think, is one of the most fascinating Bitcoin speakers. I think says it well. We're heading towards a future where there's going to be multiple blockchains, and there's going to be blockchains with specific use cases and specific points. And then I think we'll end up with regional blockchains. So I don't really see it as a winner take all. I actually think it's better that you have multiple blockchains globally. So yeah, I'm not. Definitely not in the winner take all camp. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, talk about the DigiByte tip bot. Well, the tip bot's actually been integrated into DigiByte Gaming. So with the DigiByte Gaming tip bot, you actually can tip people in Twitch chat on Twitter, as well as Twitch, Twitter, Reddit, and some others. We'd like to get more people using it. We feel it's a very handy tool for gamers and for other people. Okay, let's go a little bit more here about the future. What 2035, what 2030 might look like. All the time you're hearing about artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence applications. Without a doubt, it's going to affect the future very dramatically. I read a report here recently that was stating 47% of the jobs in the United States that currently exist will no longer exist by the year 2030 because of the rise of computerization and artificial intelligence, etc. And we feel this is going to affect blockchain technology. So we're exploring and discussing some ideas such as smart transaction routing, smart transactions, smart blocks, etc. There's the sky is the limit, so there's going to be some fascinating areas that occur there. And as talked about at the beginning of this, the DigiByte has the ability to provide a secure DNS layer as well as an SSL layer for websites. And part of the way we think we can actually help that happen or allow that to happen is what we call the Digiman browser, which is a hard fork of the Brave browser project. I'm actually running it. It's not ready to be released by any means, but what it would allow for is if you use the browser, and that browser is essentially a wallet, you can also authenticate yourself to other websites, but you also can have greater privacy protections and enhancements. And then you can actually use it to do something I call the attention economy, which is where you get rewarded for looking at an advertisement in cryptocurrency based upon your wallet that's associated with your browser. So that way you don't get spammed and you only see ads that you actually look at. It's a much more decentralized economy. I think that can have a very disruptive impact, especially on internet advertising technology. Okay. So are there any big companies interested in adding DGB as a payment method? We have been added to several of the payment gateways. I know DigiByte has been used as arbitrage for Bitcoin between some exchanges because of the speed. Let's see here. The Mac wallet isn't syncing. I'm actually running a Mac wallet right now. Are you running the core wallet? Is it version 4.0.3? Make sure your wallet is updated. Let's see. When are there new updates on YouTube DigiReport? So going back to that question and what I talked about earlier, those DigiReport videos would take us a couple days to film and to actually put together. And those are 2 days worth of time that we could be programming. So, 2 days out of the 5 spent making videos, we would like to hire some professional video people, but unfortunately we'd rather focus on programming for the time being. So this is where we feel that these hangouts are a much more pragmatic approach to interacting with you guys. Okay, so is the focus on DigiByte on gaming? We're still actively in the gaming front for sure, but our biggest focus and our biggest development priority the last 3-4 months has been on the DigiSign platform. So what exactly is DigiSign? DigiSign is a platform that allows a company or a user to take a contract or a document and actually physically sign it and embed it in a transaction and secure it in the blockchain, as well as like an audit trail of different editing points. So basically, that has a lot of interest from several companies, trade companies especially, because a lot of these existing systems are still done with pen and paper. So we are approaching actively companies that are in that space, and we're presenting them a practical real-world solution for document handling and management. So that has been our primary focus here in the office, and it will continue to be so here for the next few months. But we're very much so still interested and still working on the gaming front. But we don't want to limit DigiByte to any one specific thing. That's the beauty of a decentralized blockchain, is you can build a wide array of platforms and projects. And that is where 2017 we want to get the community on board with as many new community-driven projects as possible. So, okay, let's see here. Yeah, we agree. Live stream seems to be going very well. It's a much more direct, straight to the point approach. So we'll definitely continue doing that. Let's see here. We've got. I want to keep this to about an hour because we don't want to get too long. We can do more of these. There's really hardly that much setup. Basically, we can turn the camera on and go. Next time, we would like to have people to be able to join in and talk. We just got to figure out how to do that on a technical level. This is the first time I've ever live streamed before. Do we have any more questions? Is there anything else you guys would like to know? Moving in here to 2017. Once again, I would like to thank you, each and every one of you very much for being here and for supporting DigiByte over the last 3 years. Without you guys, DigiByte is nothing, and that is what DigiByte is all about. DigiByte is a decentralized community, and it's been absolutely humbling to hear people's stories and to meet people from all over the world who are actively engaged in DigiByte, from Europe to Africa, here in Asia, to the United States. Can we see the whole team next time? Part of the issue with doing this live broadcast is getting it at a time when people on all continents across the globe, can do this. Because currently it's 6:53 a.m. here. I know it's 11 or 12 in the UK, and the middle of the day in the US. So if somebody has a suggestion for a better time, we could. But yeah, I mean, we could definitely shoot a video, in the office at some point. Well, we are in the office, but with everybody in the background. In terms of market cap, is there a specific goal, or is it more about developing the project and focusing on the project? Yeah, absolutely. It's about developing real-world utility, a sustainable, secure product. Because if we do that, the market cap will follow. I don't think I have to tell most of you that if you look at some of the coins, they've gone from $5, $10, $20 million market cap to $100 million market cap in a matter of weeks with the right news and the right information. However, we're not actively going out there trying to pump up the price of DigiByte. Because in the long run, and once again, we are in this for the long haul. It's been 3 years already. I've seen time and time again where a group of people will come out, they'll launch a new coin, they'll go out and they'll try and pump it up, and that's all they'll focus on, and then you never hear from them again, and a lot of people get burned, and obviously the blockchain dies. So yeah, we definitely, there's the hardest thing, I guess, as the founder of a cryptocurrency, is you meet all these amazing people that are actively interested in helping DigiByte grow. They've got fantastic ideas. They've got innovative suggestions. And to be frank, sometimes I've woken up with hundreds of messages across different platforms, and it's impossible for me to keep up. So definitely, I would like to get it to where some of the amazing community members we have the chance to interact with each other and get to know each other, to share the ideas and to collaborate. Yeah, definitely we'll have more people at the next roundtable. Like I said, we got to figure out some of the technical issues here. Yeah, 8 hours from now, probably not. It doesn't really work for the timing. We'll plan on it in maybe a week to 2 weeks out. Well, what does the daily job look like? I honestly, it's not a typical. There's really not a typical day. Obviously, it's 6 a.m. here, so I was up at 5, and we're doing this. I got a lot of emails to respond to today. We have a couple big meetings coming up here to introduce DigiSign to. Which, by the way, we're not going to set a specific time on the beta yet. Basically, the most important thing is we want to make sure that it's easy to use, that it's secure, and that it's efficient. So when we do finally release it, we will gather significant headway in the market. How much do I work out? Being here in Hong Kong, there's not a lot of space, not a lot of room. To me, the gym is my personal time and my relaxation time. So I try and go once a day, but a lot of times I end up going twice a day, just because I find it de-stressful, and it really helps me relax. Okay. What is the strategy in terms of marketing for 2017? Well, I think the biggest and most primary strategy is involving the community, which is exactly what this is about right here with the roundtables. Being much more active on social media, Twitter, much more active on blog posts, on the main website, also some newsletters. Marketing for sure needs some improvements, and getting as many people active and involved. But then also presenting, like I said, real-world solutions and use cases. So we're working with some trade companies right now. When we implement DigiSign into their system, we can come out with some pretty significant news at that point. So the marketing at that point essentially goes viral. But yeah, like I said, 2017 is much more about community involvement and keeping everybody actively updated and informed. So yeah, as far as the partners, like I stated, we do have trade-based companies we partnered with. We are talking to other companies. Some of these companies, basically, we are under an NDA with until they are ready. The technology is actively ready to roll out. We can't really talk about it in detail because obviously those companies want to make sure everything's fine to avoid any potential public embarrassment. We're actively seeking other partnerships. So if you're watching this and you are interested in talking more, if you're a representative of a company, whether it's a financial institution, a trade company, real estate company, etc., our DigiSign document solution we feel is really going to make a lot of waves, and it is a practical, real-world way to do contracts on the blockchain. So like I said, more will be coming out about that. We don't have a specific timeline. We don't have specific details. We just want to make sure it's good to go. Let's see. Any other questions? It's 6:59 here, so it's been about an hour. So I think we're going to go ahead and wind this down. Like I said, this should be recorded, so it should be accessible. Please share it with people that weren't able to come here or people you think might be interested in DigiByte, who started it, or what it's all about. So yeah, to conclude, thank you all very much once again for being here. Without you, DigiByte wouldn't be here. So next time we'll have more people that have joined in the roundtable discussion here. I think this went very well, and it's a great format. So I actually prefer the impromptu way of doing things. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So thank you guys, and let's see here. I can turn it on. Until next time.